What's up, YouTube subscribers? It's Stephen A. Williams, president and founder of the creditrepairshop.com. And in today's video, we're going to talk about court summons. People are getting slammed with these all over. I probably get, 5 to 10 inquiries about these daily. I could see that the debt is being moved on the market, millions of dollars, and they're not going to just buy the debt and only try to send letters out to people. They are, with most of these collection agencies, they will try to sue you to collect the money. Now, for this video, the purposes on this video is number one, I'm going to go into one of the biggest things that we challenge, the biggest things that we challenge when we respond to a court summons, and that you should take this down, write your notes, because I'm going to tell you exactly what you need to do. This has been working to either get cases dismissed outright, where they dismiss it before they go to court, or it gets dismissed when when the person shows up to court and they've already had this response, or it gets into a very good settlement opportunity if the judge just happens to just be more inclined to allow the debt collector to collect on the debt. The first part of this that I want to talk about is the fear of having a court summons land on your door, or having someone uh, come to your door and say, sign this. Sometimes it's a sheriff, sometimes it's just average individual that's a servicer, and they will give, say, sign here, you've been served. And it brings up a lot of fears on people. A lot. I've been served before, and it brought up fears. And it's like, man, I got to go to court. It brings out something that when you're not used to doing something, and then something is thrown at you, it will always bring up anxiety, and your mind has to kind of formulate around, what can I do? What can they do? This is what they're saying. Can they really do it? What are my options? Like that, it just runs through. Some people shut down. Some people totally shut down and they get fearful. And that's why I always, when I talk to clients, or when my staff talks to clients, one of the things that we always ask people is like, what is your tolerance? And people always wonder, why do we care about your tolerance? Because the tolerance level is going to be is going to from my experience, is going to give you the options that are available that you can tolerate. Some people cannot tolerate going to court. As a matter of fact, we have an individual where we wrote the summons response for, and had a very good opportunity to get this dismissed. And because of the tolerance level, which was not relayed to us the way that we thought it would be, the individual did not go to court. It's like, why did you miss the court date? This is like laid out for you. All you have to do is just follow the instruction. But I understand, because everyone cannot do it. That's why we're dealing with debt collectors, we're dealing with credit repair, we're getting out of debt. A lot of people cannot do it. I mean, you might be one aspect or another, you may not be able to manage in your life. Your tolerance level is just where, when anything starts to get you a little shaken up, you might start to withdraw, or you might start to focus more on the negative instead of thinking about the solutions on the positive. And nothing is guaranteed. I think what makes anxiety happen for a lot of people, and what makes a lot of people not try, is that they're afraid of failure, when failure is just part of it. Failure allows you to continue, and to continue working towards success. But you can never be successful if you're afraid of failure. It just does not work. I've failed at things. I've had to rework things for clients. But the thing about it is that if you continue working, you'll always get to where you want to be. Always. And there's never really a timeline for stuff. There's different timelines for things. And I really think that part of the timeline is the individual's belief, the belief that something good can happen for them. A lot of people just don't believe. They say it, they might even think it on a surface level, but when they really internalize, they just think a lot of bad things are just always going to happen to them, or that it's just going to really remain the same. And then they get that comfort level of just remaining the same. So when you are summoned to go to court, you have to respond to that court summons. If you don't respond to that court summons, they're going to end up getting a default judgment if you don't show up. And even if you show up, the judge is going to say, what are your answers to the allegations in the summons? And you're going to sit back and you're going to be like, well, I had the debt before. You're just going to like fall into the lap of what they want you to do, which is to really basically is to just go there with no plan. Now, the plan that I give my clients and the plan that I'm going to give you right now, get your paper out, pause the video, because what I'm about to reveal to you is what I don't see a lot of people doing when they respond to the court summons. Most people either just try to challenge the debt like it was just something that they never did. Unless it's easy, they do the statute of limitations, which is, I mean, I don't want to say it's easy because a lot of people don't even know about the statute of limitations. Had attorneys that didn't even look up statute of limitations on debt. They just were more trying to do settlements. When you respond to a court summons, it's going to have all of these points on there. These are allegations. It may say like that you live at this residence. It might say that the debt collector is authorized to do business and licensed in your state. But those are, you need to respond to those if they're true or whatever, or you don't know. Like if they're really registered to do business, you don't know, and you don't need to do technically, uh, it's not going to matter. Well, it does matter if they're not because you don't want them lying on there. But where your fight is going to be, because I don't believe a debt collector would be submitting it and saying that they are registered to do business in your state and they're not. I mean, that's going to be a simple lookup. Uh, but the way this is where you're going to fight. You're going to fight on these grounds. Number one, you never had a contract with the debt collector. Debt collector is going to say, yes, I do have a contract. I purchased this debt, this pool of debt from this credit card company. They're going to have an affidavit saying that they purchased all of this debt. Now, let me break down the problem with that first, because this is how you're going to put your stuff together. And this really does work. We've gotten them dismissed because this is a problem for them that they don't want you to know about, that is right in the face. And they want everybody to gloss over it. When they buy the accounts, number one, they buy the accounts, they don't have complete account numbers. But let's not even get to that yet. Let's just get to them buying the account. They're saying that they bought an account from an original creditor. They're going to put the statements that original creditor sent to you. They're going to have that affidavit saying that they bought this debt. But now let me tell you, problem number one right away is on that affidavit. It does not specifically say they bought your account. On that affidavit, it does not specifically say your account number. It has no names on it. It just says that they bought a portfolio. Problem number one. That's problem number one. So what you do is you reverse that. If someone says to you, I bought your debt, and you say, show me that you bought my debt, and they give you this affidavit, and it says, we bought this pool of debt from this credit card company provider, and you would say, okay, show me on that document that you're using as proof that you're swearing to, or this company, an individual with the company is swearing to, show me my account, show me my name that you purchased. They can't do that. They won't give them that, and they can't even go back to the original creditor and get it. They're done when they sell it to them. They're like, here, take this document, this affidavit, take these copies of the statements, which is only a few months because we're not going to go further than that, and go give us the money that we negotiated for this, and get out of our face. That's really what they do. They don't want to have nothing to do with these companies other than just selling them the debt. And so that's problem number one right there. And we tear that apart. So we ask for the contract between, we've never done business with them, with the debt collector, and we want them to show specifically that your account was purchased, your specific account. Give me documentation showing that my specific account was sold. Now that'll go, and I'm looking over here at one that I had recently did. Now the next thing is we want to respond to why you haven't responded to any of the letters, or maybe you did, but most people, when they get to this point, they didn't respond to the 30-day letter because they're going to say in their response, well, we sent them letters and opportunities to respond about this, and they never did respond to it. You never had any contract or any agreements or arrangements with the debt collector, so there is no reason for you to respond. That is a logical response for you to put in your response for the court summons. And that it does not matter. You've never done business with them and you have no reason to respond. They might try to say, well, it had the original creditor and stuff on there. Uh, we told them that we are collecting this debt from this original creditor. Well, now let's tear that apart. You want them to give you a document stating with your signature that you allowed them to have access to your personal information. If they said that they got it from the original creditor, the original creditor has to remember all these privacy statements and stuff that we got to sign, and they keep making these updates where I think that they're kind of sliding this in because of, I don't, maybe I should take credit for it, but they want to slide these in because now they want to try to update their privacy terms to allow this to be able to them to be able to share it with third party debt buyers that buy your debt, but make them prove it still. So you say on the response to that, give me a document that shows that I allowed the original creditor who sold this purported debt to this debt collector to share my personal data. We're living in a time where this is like uh, picking up a hot coal out of the grill or something. People don't want to get stuck with getting into people's private information without permission. So you want them to prove that. Now, the next thing is you want them to, and when you state your private information, you specifically need to say how they were able to get disclosed to my social security number, my name, my number, my phone number, address, and other personal information. You want to know, when did I sign and authorize you to get that information? You see how we're kind of like punching at them? They punched at you, giving you the summons, try to get you all scared and get you all worked up, and then you're like punching back, fighting back with some counter punches, saying, "Okay, give me this, give me that." You're not running from it. You're just saying, "Give me, I have a right to ask these questions also, just like you ask questions. Some of the times you'll look at the summons and you'll be like, hey, they're lying on me. Like, they didn't give me the opportunity to do that. They'll say things like, you enriched yourself with the use of the credit card. They'll say all these things to try to make it look like you did something that, like you did this intentionally, when you just probably ran into some financial uh, issues and just wasn't able to continue making the payments on it. So now the next thing is, and you want them to prove that. Now the next thing is that they'll have this big number that they have saying, like for this one here, it was over $17,000. You want them to prove how that $17,000 was accumulated. Now think about this. If it was an original creditor, if you were still with that credit card company and you asked them, hey, I'm your customer. You're saying that I owe $17,000. Uh, Show me all the charges. Do you think that the credit card company would not just be like, boom, 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 boom? You charge this, you charge that, you charge that. My wife, for our retail store, she had forgot about a charge. No, I forgot about a charge. I'm not going to blame this on my wife. I forgot about a charge. I bought my wife a new Apple computer, and I used my uh, American Express card to buy it but we used it for our retail business store that we have. And she got the statement and she was going to pay, and she was like, I only charged, I think she had charged like $13,000, and she was going to pay that bill. And she was like, they say I owe $15,000, but on my card it says $13,000. Where does other $2,000 come from? And she called them up and they said, oh, it was done on this other card. And then she was like, oh, you did it on your card. And I was like, I bought the computer for you. You was with me. I just used that one. So we paid the bill, 15 grand. But the thing about it is that they were able to trace everything. If they would have gave her all of her charges for the 13, and they definitely had my one charge, which was the computer that I had, laptop computer that she wanted to get. The original creditor would have it. So we're counterpunching again. We're punching again. Mr. or Mrs. Debt Collection Company, give me proof, a breakdown of all of the charges that accumulated to this $17,000, specifically individually approved charges for the amount claimed with my signatures, approving the alleged charges that you, who is not in the accounting office of the original creditor, supposedly is coming to court stating that this is 100% true. Give it to me. They always just give you some statements, like the last few months. Give me that. You see how we're counterpunching, but it's tolerance. You got to be able to fight on this. That's why with boxers, sometimes one boxer is losing at the beginning and then that other one comes on at the end. That's what you're doing, but you're going to have to stay in the game to get to that point. And then you're saying in the end that you want to uh, review it. You're not saying that it's not yours. You're not trying to make the court, go through, all of this stuff just to try to make it like you don't want to, like you're just running from it. You just want them to prove everything. Okay, so right there, and then you want them to unredact the full account number. If this is your account, and if you want to be able to review everything to prove that this account is yours, you want them to unredact everything about the account number so you can review it. Maybe you had two accounts with them. I want to know that this account, if they're saying that it is your account, unredact it and let us see the full account number. And they won't be able to do it because they're not going to be able to go back and get that. And then what usually ends up happening is that they will either do number one, dismiss it when they get this response. A lot of the time they just dismiss it. They just fully say forget this one, go to the easy one, dismiss it. We've had recently where they did that, or they will try to get a delay, hoping that you won't come to court. So uh, they will and then when they do the delay, when they ask for the delay, if you've given them time to get the information, at least like a week or two to get the information, they're supposed to already have it, but you get them a week or two to get the information, and you go to court. Immediately ask when they say that they want more time. You say you want to have the case dismissed because you've given them enough time to get the information. We just recently had this happen with a client. He was on there. The summons was given, I think, 3 weeks in advance. And I always state when I put the message in there on the notes on what you need to do, you need to sign, you need to give the plaintiff a copy, the court a copy. And I always state when you go to your court date, and if they say they need more time, ask to have it dismissed because you've given them enough time to get the information. You gave them the response, 3 or 2 weeks or a week in advance of the court date. They always send the lowest grade attorney there for these initial reviews, these initial hearings, and they are instructed if it's something. Sometimes they're instructed to just push for to get another hearing date. But a lot of times they're instructed to just dismiss it because they don't want to make more work to come back in. Like they know what they can and can't get. So you just have to be willing to stand up for yourself and do that. So it's either going to be dismissed before, and you need to get that in writing, and then you need to get it in writing that the court knows that it's dismissed. If they don't know it's dismissed, and the debt collector's only told you it's going to be dismissed when the court date goes, you need to still show up to court regardless. Because what they'll do is they'll look around, and if you're not there, they'll ask for default judgment. Next, then they'll just ask for more time. And when they ask for more time, they're probably going to contact you and state that would you be willing to work out a settlement with them? And that's going to be a, a personal decision on your part. If you believe that they're going to get the information, uh, you know, but if you don't believe that they're going to get it, you can go to the next hearing and see if they're going to get it. If they don't, then you would ask for dismissal. If they do, worst case scenario is that you still end up in a settlement process. And you got to keep in mind that you're not the only one that they're doing this to. Sometimes people think that it's like they're coming after me. They're coming after me when it's thousands of people. Some of the times people will make, or we've submitted for people, hey, this client, we prepared the document for the client saying that they want to do a settlement. They didn't respond right back. And they're like, well, why don't they respond? I'm offering to settle it, and they won't respond because you're not the only one that they're dealing with. You're not the only one that they're dealing with. Like they're dealing with thousands of accounts. When they buy accounts, I was just showing on one, they bought 17,000 accounts. They don't have one person going after one account. They have one person or a team of people going after thousands of accounts each. And these people are human just like you. And they get cranky, they get sick, they forget stuff, they uh, get behind, all types of stuff. So it's going to, no matter what, even if you have a settlement opportunity, it's going to take work. It has to go through different channels. That person that's sitting there on the phone cannot always make the decision. If it's something small, they might say if they offer 50%, you can say yes. But if they go lower than that, you have to go to a manager. And then what if the manager is not available? What if the manager has to go to somebody else? So stop thinking that everything is just like people don't want to do things for you, or control what you control. And what I just went over with you is what you control. And you don't control any answers or anything about what decisions they're going to make. You don't control that. I don't control it. They control it. All you do is you respond to what they say, and then you put your best information forward to make your side more successful, because you can't make them do. A lot of people get stuck thinking that they can control what other people do when they can't even control what they own, what control themselves. And they're trying to control other people and try to make other people do what they won't even do for themselves. All right, so I'm in the video here. I know this is valuable information. Nobody gets into it like this. Nobody. And it's mainly because they don't have the experience that I had the experience with dealing with this type of stuff. If you need help with your credit, go to my website, thecreditrepairshop.com, watch the video, What Makes Us Different. That's where I display my 8-point validation process, my two-phase settlement process. If you need help responding to a court summons, if it's an original creditor, we can submit your response and move towards a settlement. If it's a third-party debt collector, we would go the route that we just talked about right here. If you, the links are below here. If you need your credit reports and scores, go to the website, your3scores.com. Grab your credit reports. You need them because you need to watch out for what could be potentially on your credit reports that would make that debt invalid, which is if it was canceled or 100% written off. You don't even know it, but you may not even owe the debt, and the debt was slipped in to the debt collector with the big purchase, because again they don't specify the account numbers, and your debt was written off and canceled, and a 1099-C cancellation of debt sent to the IRS, and you're going to be getting that next year when you get your W-2 tax form. You're going to get that in the mail, but you have a debt collector trying to double dip on you, who purchased a bulk of debt, and your account was accidentally thrown in there. So you need to get your credit reports. You need to get one that's going to show all three with all of the information. Go to your3scores.com, grab those credit reports. Very vital. It's like the fuel to your success for credit repair and getting out of debt. If you need the cease and desist collection activities letter, or my statute of limitations letter, or debt validation letter, the links are below this video for free. You can grab those. And also other links are below here. I have where if you need credit repair services and coaching services, we're offering coaching services now. We have a finance program where you can also sign up and get that. All the links are below this video. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel. Make sure that you share. Make sure that you comment. Make sure that you stay active. Make sure that you have make sure that you have a great day. This is Stephen A. Williams, President and founder of thecreditrepairshop.com. Thank you.